In this video, we uncover why sourdough bread stays fresh longer than regular white loaves. From the lower pH and organic acids to lactic acid bacteria, sourdough uses natural defenses that slow mold growth. We also cover water activity control, gradual acidification, and mycotoxin reduction, and how these mechanisms stack up against chemical preservatives. With science to back it up, here's the bottom line on bread preservation and why sourdough lasts longer. 1. Natural pH defense against mold growth. The secret behind sourdough's impressive shelf life lies in its natural acidity. Sourdough breads contain organic acids including lactic acid, typically 1550 mmol per kilogram, and acetic acid, typically 530 mmol per kilogram, creating an inhospitable environment for harmful microorganisms. This acidic environment forms a protective barrier that regular white bread simply cannot match. The lactic acid bacteria in sourdough naturally lower the bread's pH to around 4.0, compared to regular bread which typically sits between pH 5.3–6.0. Many microorganisms flourish in neutral to slightly acidic conditions, while adjusting the pH of a food product to levels outside the microbial growth range can effectively inhibit the proliferation of spoilage and pathogenic microorganisms. 2. The power of organic acid. Organic acids produced by lactic acid bacteria during the fermentation of sourdoughs have the ability to reduce the growth of different molds, and these organic acids are responsible for lowering the pH, which affects sourdough's antifungal properties and preservation. Think of these acids as tiny soldiers standing guard, constantly patrolling your bread and keeping unwanted invaders at bay. Research shows that the growth rate significantly decreased in both molds compared with control bread, and the mixture containing only Lactobacillus plantarum presented a greater capability to reduce the growth rate of both molds. It's fascinating how these microscopic warriors work around the clock to maintain your bread's freshness. 3. Extended mold-free storage time. Sourdough will generally last 2–3 days longer than a home-baked regular loaf, but this comparison becomes even more dramatic when we look at specific research findings. Studies have documented some remarkable preservation achievements that would make any baker proud. When Lactobacillus amylovirus was applied as a sourdough starter culture, the bread's shelf life was increased by 4 days, relative to control samples which had mold detectable after only 2 days. That's essentially doubling the usable life of your bread without any chemical preservatives. With the addition of L. reuteri R29 inoculated sourdough, the shelf life was extended by 2 days for quinoa, plus 100%, and rice bread, plus 6–7%, when compared to non-acidified controls, while L. brevis R2 delta fermented sourdough bread reached a shelf life of 4 days for quinoa, plus 100%, and rice, plus 33%. 4. Lactic acid bacteria as natural preservatives. The antifungal activity of LAB is associated with the action of a combination of their excreted metabolites, acetic, propionic, caproic acids, etc., in which caproic acid shows highest activity against molds which causes bread spoilage, and lactic, acetic, and phenolactic acids in sourdough could significantly reduce bread spoilage caused by molds. These beneficial bacteria are like having a personal preservation team working inside your bread. As a biological preservative, LAB significantly reduce the usage of chemical preservatives in bakery food, and LAB also produce exopolysaccharides, ethanol, and volatile flavor substances during fermentation, which bring balanced bread sensory profiles. 5. Water activity control benefits. The natural preservation capability helps prevent food-borne pathogens from growing, keeping sourdough loaf edible for longer. With this natural preservation capability combined with proper storage, meaning bread can stay good for an average of about 5 to 7 days. Water activity plays a crucial role in food preservation. Some examples of water activity controlled foods that may have an AW of greater than 0.85 include canned cake and bread, and water activity is usually controlled by the use of salt or sugar. Sourdough naturally manages this balance through its fermentation process. 6. Gradual acidification versus chemical preservation. Gradual acidification of dough by lactic acid bacteria is a critical factor affecting the process, while chemical acidification weakened the texture property of products and reduced the dough rheology. This explains why sourdough maintains its quality while staying fresh longer. Sourdough fermentation involves gradual acidification through microbial metabolism, with the decreasing pH level affecting the physiochemical properties of gluten by activating protease in cereal flour. However, the exogenous addition of organic acids leads to instant acidification, which has a negative effect on the structure of dough. 7. Mycotoxin reduction properties. Incorporating sourdough powder into bread significantly extends shelf life and reduces fungal contamination, with this reduction resulting in lower levels of mycotoxins, and the use of dry sourdough fermented by P. pentosaceous leading to the lowest levels of aflatoxins. The health benefits extend beyond simple preservation. A reduction of AFB1 and AFB2 was evidenced in sourdough breads compared to control bread, and the addition of L-plantarum resulted in antifungal activity, which probably led to a reduction in mycotoxin production. This means sourdough isn't just staying fresh longer, it's actively protecting your health. 8. Comparison with chemical preservatives. The combination of sourdough and 0.1% calcium propionate effectively extended shelf life of bread similar to bread supplemented with 0.3% calcium propionate alone, while bread supplemented with 25 ml Lactobacillus plantarum fermented whey had its shelf life extended by 1 day, and with 50 ml fermented whey was extended by 2 days. This research demonstrates that natural sourdough can match or exceed the preservation power of chemical additives. 0.3% calcium propionate supplemented bread had weaker antiseptic effects than bread fermented by L-amylovirus DSM 19280, and lab-fermented bread greatly reduced the addition of chemical preservatives and improved bakery products safety. 9. Scientific evidence of preservation mechanisms. Recent research has provided compelling evidence for sourdough's preservation abilities. The use of sourdoughs to prepare bakery products has been researched for more than 30 years, and accumulated research shows the performance of sourdoughs as an alternative to improve the organoleptic characteristics of bread and its shelf life. Sourdough is a very interesting natural preservation system to prolong mold-free shelf life of bread, with numerous studies reporting that antifungal activity is mainly correlated with the presence of lactic and acetic acid, and this study was conducted to provide additional information about the mode of action of the acids in sourdough bread, enabling better shelf life prediction. 10. The bottom line on bread preservation. The science is clear. Sourdough bread's superior shelf life comes from a perfect storm of natural preservation mechanisms. The combination of pH control, organic acid production, and beneficial bacterial activity creates a preservation system that outperforms many chemical alternatives while maintaining superior taste and texture. The application of sourdough fermentation can enhance texture, flavor, and nutritional value of cereal foods while extending their shelf life and improving food safety, with sourdough fermentation having a broad range of applications in cereal food processing. This ancient technique continues to prove its relevance in our modern world, offering both superior preservation and enhanced nutrition in every slice. Who would have thought that something as simple as letting flour and water ferment naturally could create such a sophisticated preservation system?